they raid a particular room and people say, well, we're just playing for fun, we're all friends, you know, having a few beers, then obviously if they count a few hundred cards, then it's obviously it's run as an illegal casino, isn't it? So that's the whole reason about it. Another one, and this is a law that's been around in Singapore for a long time. I didn't actually know until I was doing some research. I didn't know this was actually illegal, but it's actually illegal. The importing and selling of chewing gum is banned except for dental or nicotine gum to maintain public cleanliness. And thinking about it, I've been here, this is my third year now. I've lived here for years on and off, but continuous this time, it's up to my third year. And I've never sort of thought about it, but I've never noticed any chewing gum in any of the shops. I've never really noticed anybody chewing gum or chewing gum on the street or anything like that. It's just something I didn't think about, but I now know, like you do, that it's illegal. Okay, so that's the things that are in the statute box, the statute books, the Royal Gazette, that are actually law and they're illegal. But there's 2 or 3 other things I thought I'd just mention that you need to be aware of. And if you're a regular visitor to Thailand, you probably know this already. But citizens and visitors are expected to stand still when the national anthem is played daily at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. in public places. Now, I know this isn't quite as strict as it used to be 20 years ago. I remember walking through a park or along Sukhumvit Road, and the speakers would go off at 6 o'clock, national anthems playing, and everybody stood absolutely still, including all the foreigners. Now I do see some people carry on if they're in the park jogging or doing exercise. They don't necessarily all stop. But that's not a law. That's just something that's expected. Now, something is mandatory is that a lot of people come here and they think they can just pick up a SIM card at a local convenience store or a 7-Eleven or at the airport for that matter. You can, but you can't have it unregistered now because of national security. Thailand, like any other country, is trying to look after its citizens. You have to have it registered. So mandatory SIM card registration. Purchasing a local SIM card requires registration with a passport to enhance national security. So in other words, when you go in to buy a SIM card, myself for instance, I used to get one at the airport, choose what I wanted. They'd sort it all out for me, put the PIN code in, but they took a picture of my passport and that SIM card was linked to my passport. So if I was one of those guys who was coming into the country to make some kind of a problem and they were looking for me, they had a problem and they could trace that number. They could trace that number back to my passport, which obviously tracks back to me. Okay, but if you don't break the law, you've got nothing to worry about. And the last one on today's list, just out of interest, excess public displays of affection are frowned upon and can be considered indecent. So again, this isn't law up to a point, but then it becomes law after a certain point. The Thais don't show affection in public. So unlike the West, you won't see them standing in the street necking, kissing. You might see them holding hands. That's about it. But when it gets more serious than that, if there's been couples, young couples who have come on holiday and they've gone down to places like Phuket, Krabi, and it's a paradise on earth for them, isn't it? They're young, it's a gap year, maybe they come here and they've been caught making love on the beach, which is quite a natural thing maybe for people in the West. I don't mean in the middle of afternoon when it's surrounded by kids. It might be 1 o'clock in the morning when they've come from a nightclub. They're in a deserted, secluded beach, a little bit of cover on each side. The petting gets quite heavy and they get carried away, and some of them have been caught. Then that is very, very serious. You would get prosecuted. So, if it gets hot and steamy, just back to the room. Okay, that's it. A very, very short video today. I just thought it might be interesting. If you're visiting Thailand, don't worry. It's a very, very safe country. The people are great. They'll help you out all the way. The food is great. I've never had a problem here. I feel safer walking down the street here at 3 o'clock at night, 3 a.m. in the morning than I do in my own country at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.